This is a problem that's worth solving. There's multiple steps that you can take to turn up the attraction that you get from women. And if this was some kind of clickbait video which wasn't really going to help you, you know, this clickbait, like number one, do 50 push-ups in the morning. Like, I'd say something really clickbait to entertain you. But the first way to find out if you're attractive to women, or literally even step 0, is something that a lot of guys aren't going to understand. They're going to click away. But if you can take this seriously and literally listen to these words with your full attention, I promise this will change your life forever, because it did for me. Because around 10, 12 years ago for me, age 13, 15, I was genuinely convinced that no girls would be attracted to me. I truly had this belief in my mind that I was literally ugly. You know, I wasn't like a really attractive guy, but I wasn't like totally ugly. I was in the UK and I had this belief that the girls there weren't attracted to brown guys. I kind of had this like brown, anti-Muslim kind of mindset. It's all I really saw on TV was like, oh, like the Muslims are terrorists and look, immigration's a problem. So I always felt like bad for being brown skinned. I genuinely believed that no girls would be attracted to me. Truly. And I know that there's a lot of guys who feel this way. And one lucky day, something just clicked in my mind when this singer went really viral in the UK, and his name was Zayn Malik. He's a singer for like One Direction or something. He's a pretty attractive guy, right? This was back in like the Facebook days, so I don't know if you were like on social media back then, but this was back in Facebook literally 10 years ago, when girls would share like just pictures of guys like, oh my god, he's so hot. And girls started to do this for Zayn Malik, and I literally saw in front of my own eyes the girls that I had crushes on but never had the confidence to speak to because I was sure that they didn't like brown guys. They were literally downloading and then uploading a photo of this Pakistani guy onto their Facebook page, and just suddenly that one day, that belief in my mind got destroyed, and I realized that it wasn't being brown skinned that was holding me back. So what was it? A bunch of things that I had to fix. I was addicted to porn at the time. I was just playing video games, and I genuinely had a look at myself and thought, yeah, to be honest, if I was a girl, I probably wouldn't be attracted to this version of me. Like, I'd love if a girl was attracted to me and she played video games too and she just wanted to date a loser, but then I can't really blame her if she doesn't. It all started for me with these deep internal beliefs, and you can probably understand why I've gave you this like disclaimer just a few minutes ago that this isn't like a very attractive clickbait thing for us to talk about. I'd just be like, number one, make sure you wear a pants and then do the belt buckle like this. Yes, here's something that you can do right now. It goes deeper than that. I think for the majority of guys, they are held back not by real world things, but simply by their beliefs. And of course we can understand that because the things that are happening in the dating scene these days, it's very cutthroat, and so of course that leads to negative thinking and negative beliefs in the minds of men around the world. And you've probably had these kinds of thoughts too, even if you've not wanted to consciously admit it. You're thinking about those videos that you've watched where some guy's made like a profile on Tinder pretending he's a woman, and he's used pictures of like very unattractive obese women, and they get 400 matches per day, and they literally get like really attractive successful guys messaging them being flirty, and you're thinking, how would this kind of woman, no offense to her, but you know, you just gotta say it, like this unattractive woman gets 100 times more interest than I am. What's happening in the modern dating scene is leading to a lot of people with very negative beliefs about themselves. And if I can give you just one piece of advice in terms of dating, especially in terms of being a man and dating a woman and actually wanting to be the kind of guy that she like totally is addicted to, right? Because there's different kinds of dynamics in dating, isn't there? Sometimes the boyfriend's a bit of a chump and the girl kind of bosses him around, and sometimes the girl cheats on him. But then sometimes, just sometimes, you might have seen this, or maybe you don't even believe it, but sometimes there's like an absolute like Chad kind of guy where the girl is so totally submissive and addicted to him. And if you want to get to this kind of place, I've said a lot of times, you know, the most important thing is building an aesthetic body, or maybe status or money or confidence. Well, all of those things are actually above the foundation. This is the absolute core part, the foundation, and guess what it is? It's your beliefs about yourself. Because you know, if you think of that Chad guy who gets so many girls, you know, we can say, oh yeah, he gets more likes on his Tinder pictures because he's really attractive. Yeah, sure. But the reason why girls actually treat him nicely is because he believes that he deserves it. I'm telling you that this is the most important thing. If you want to find out if you're attractive to women, and also if you want to become more attractive to women, start to observe and improve the thoughts and beliefs that you have about your dating life. Sometimes you have to, in a delusional way, just trick yourself into thinking, yeah, I'm actually really hot. I'm an alpha male and girls really want me. I know that sounds so silly, and I wouldn't say something like that which is cringe if it didn't work. But I promise you right now, the guys that these girls are actually really into, I'm telling you, those guys are thinking this about themselves. Those guys, they know they're hot shit. And sometimes I see those guys and sometimes they're not even attractive. Sometimes they're genuinely like 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. But the kind of aura that he has, the belief that he has, the kind of personality and identity that he has is absolutely irresistible. Imagine this like Chad dynamic. This guy is an ultimate Chad, right? But imagine he has a Jeffrey mind about himself. Imagine he looks really attractive. He gets a lot of Tinder matches. But imagine he was like really insecure. And imagine he's like really clingy and really like weird with the girl. You know, his mind is just messed up, but he's like physically attractive. Well, if he's physically attractive, he'll get as many matches on Tinder and likes on Instagram, right? But imagine he gets a girlfriend, and imagine how he's gonna navigate that relationship if his beliefs are all negative. Well, that relationship is gonna be very toxic and negative, and eventually probably probably end in heartbreak, isn't it? Even if he's a Chad, even if he's really, really attractive, this is like step 0. It's good mental health about yourself. Because honestly, no one wants to date someone who doesn't have good mental health. Think about that. Now, of course, someone might want to date someone who's really attractive and they don't have good mental health. But if you could just change that and improve someone's mental health and make them a little bit happier, pretty much every single person would say yes about their partner for that. Of course, right? So then why are we walking around with such negative beliefs about ourselves in our mind and then wondering why people treat us in the same way that we believe? You know, this is getting a bit deep and weird to explain, but it seems so obvious that, of course, people treat us in a certain way and that's why we believe things about ourselves, right? But actually, more and more, it's becoming proven that it's actually the opposite way around. It's not that people see us and treat us in a certain way so we believe that thing about ourselves. It's actually that we believe something about ourselves and then people treat us in that way. And to prove this, well, you're treated different by different people, aren't you? Sometimes you go to a new place with so much more confidence because your belief about yourself has changed just maybe for an hour and people treat you that way, don't they? But then sometimes you've got the same beliefs when you're around the same people and then they treat you that way. If how people treat you can change based on where you are and how you feel, well then it probably is that your beliefs start the experience first and then people react to your beliefs. And of course it still works the other way around. 100%, I'm not saying that how someone treats us is never going to change anything about us. Of course it is. But it's a lot more positive and helpful if we think about it first from our control of the world. Why don't we take some time today and really think a little bit more positive and think, okay, am I attractive to women? Yeah, you know what? Yeah, yes I am. I am pretty attractive to women. Look at all these positive traits that I have about myself. I'm fairly in shape. I'm actually a pretty like good guy. And yeah, I know that I'm a work in progress, but that's actually kind of attractive too. So you start to pick up on all of these positive things about yourself and suddenly like you're actually sitting up straighter with a bigger smile, better eye contact, and that makes you more attractive. The truth is that women find anywhere from like 50 to 80% of men unattractive. So there's been studies done on dating apps and you know, they ask women, okay, what percentage of the profiles do you find attractive? And the answer is 20%. And you know what? The word they used wasn't attractive. It was actually average. Women rated 80% of men below average. Think about that. Women rated 80% of men below average. That doesn't mathematically work because below average should be 49%, right? But because the dating market is so skewed with, you know, everyone can date online, so we see more options. And then also this psychological sort of thing that's happening to women, especially with like, there's a lot of factors that essentially have shown women the best men of the entire world, which means that 80% of men they're seeing as below average because the best guy that a girl can get is no longer the guy in her classroom or her hometown, is it? There's a guy in a different country who's 5 times richer than all of her peers who's messaging her. Or if you're in like a normal job, like an office-based job, there's a woman in there right now who's speaking to a guy who makes 10 times more income per year than any of the guys that she works with because he's in a different country right now. This means that the dating market is incredibly competitive. So competitive. And a lot of guys see this level of competition and just kind of like break down. I think this is not to be condescending, but I do think this is like a symptom of low testosterone. A lot of guys with low testosterone see how competitive the dating market is and then just think, oh no, like I don't want to compete. I'm just gonna play video games and watch porn and maybe I'll consider getting like a fleshlight or a doll or something. But if you relish this competition, so if you see how hard it is for the dating market, for love, for sex, for dating, and you want to run head first towards this competition, with enough work, maybe 2 years, 2 years of focus of doing the right things that will help you here, you will see incredible results.